Judy, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor this evening as the host of the 2009 World Habitat Day to bring today's festivities to a close and to take a few minutes to say thank you to so many of you. At this point in the program, literally standing between you and your dinner, a speaker in New York at many of the press conferences that I've been to might say, at this point in the program, everything has been said, but not everyone has said it. But that is a lie for two reasons. I spoke this morning, and I said what I had to say, but there is, most importantly, one more thing to be said tonight, and that is to say thank you. First of all, to my good friend and one of the great leaders in philanthropy and across the nation today, Judy Roden, and to the entire team at the Rockefeller Foundation. And I want to particularly single out Darren Walker, who has snuck out just as I was thanking him, and Benjamin de la Peña, who have been the real driving force behind our celebrations today, investing countless hours and resources to make today a resounding success. Thank you, Judy, for your leadership and your friendship. She is like no other philanthropic force for change in our country today. The Rockefeller Foundation for years has understood just what we're talking about today. The fact that our urban and metropolitan future across the globe is a collective one, and has understood the critical role that philanthropy can and must play in shaping that future into one that is sustainable, equitable, and, to use her word, resilient. So thank you, Judy, and thank you to the Rockefeller Foundation for the incredible support that you provided to World Habitat Day. Let me next recognize Dr. Anna Tibajuca, as well as Chris Williams, on behalf of UN Habitat. Yes? Between Jonathan's words of kindness earlier about your great accomplishments, as well as the highest compliment that Judy Roden could bestow on an individual, she said earlier today that you are the Jane Jacobs of international development. There is nothing more that I can add to that praise. But let me just say personally, this morning I addressed you as Dr. Tibajuca. Tonight I want to say, Anna, thank you. And thank you in particular for sharing with me and with this country your final World Habitat Day. You have done so much to make this day and the work of everyone here tonight possible. I look forward to seeing you in Rio and to celebrating the work that you have done once again. Thank you. I also want to say that our success in building strong, sustainable communities across the globe begins with providing all the world's people with a safe, decent, and affordable place to call home. And Habitat for Humanity is a critical partner in that effort. So thank you to Jonathan Reckford of Habitat for Humanity and to his staff, particularly Chris Vincent and Jane Katz, for their involvement in World Habitat Day. Thank you, Jonathan. Our success also depends on the engagement of the research and academic community in shaping our urban and metropolitan agenda. So I'd like to thank Strobe Talbot and the Brookings Institution, as well as my very good friend Bruce Katz and Amy Liu for their ongoing support and partnership in the planning process of World Habitat Day, and Johannes Lin for his participation in this afternoon's panel. Thank you to the Brookings Institution. Let me also recognize Dr. Ribaud, the president of Howard University, and thank him for hosting our wonderful panel this afternoon. And thank you also to the National Building Museum, Chase, as well as Brenna Lipper on your staff, for enabling us to use this miraculous, spectacular space as the gathering place for today's international dialogue. And Chase, if I may make a plug here, I hope you will all attend, if you haven't already tonight, the museum's Places We Live multimedia installation, which is running until November 15th. As words could never capture, the installation actually admits viewers into the homes of families living in slums around the world. From Mumbai to the barrios of Caracas to Kibera neighborhood in Nairobi, Kenya, where Senator Obama walked before he came to be our president. I also want to thank the members of my own miraculous and wonderful staff for their outstanding work on World Habitat Day. Deputy Secretary Ron Sims, Assistant Secretary Rafael Bostic, Ana Maria Argelagos, Elodie Baccarat, Antoinette Banks, Rebecca Parks, Anna Pern, Jerry Brown, Dan Lurie, and so many others that made today possible. I also want to say a special thank you to our administration partners, Ambassador Susan Rice, Anne-Marie Slaughter for wonderful remarks tonight, Valerie Jarrett for joining us and sharing her own view as a passionate urbanist herself, Melody Barnes, Adolfo Carrion, and Derek Douglas, and all of the staff of both the Domestic Policy Council and the White House Office of Urban Affairs who worked so hard to make this day a success. Finally, let me thank President Barack Obama himself for charging us both in and out of government and around the world with executing such a vibrant sustainability agenda. By elevating the importance of our urban and metropolitan areas as the engines of our economic growth and the future of our country, and indeed the world, President Obama has started a critical conversation that will take us on the road to Rio and the World Urban Forum. The President has opened his hand to the rest of the world and said, "We have much in America to learn from you." I'm reminded that at an earlier time of crisis in this country, it was Martin Luther King who looked to India and South Africa and many other places around the world for the model of nonviolent resistance, which helped to change this country. Today, we are faced with very difficult problems, none of which we can solve alone, but only through a new form of partnership that I am happy to say has been advanced today. But I remind you of the words of Martin Luther King, who often said, "The moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends toward justice." We have much work ahead of us together. On behalf of President Obama, let me thank you all for taking part in World Habitat Day 2009, and let me say that together we will bend the moral arc of the universe towards greater justice for those who live in our urban and metropolitan areas around the country. Thank you so much for joining us here today.